Fiduciary. It's hard to say. It's hard to understand. And you might be one without even knowing it. So here's the deal. If you manage a health or retirement plan, you're a fiduciary. You won't see that word on your business card, but it's your duty to select advisors and investments, minimize expenses, and follow plan documents exactly. That's a lot of responsibility and liability, and the risk is always out there. Your company could be sued, and you could be sued. Make the wrong choices, and it could be your money and your assets at risk. Consider this. 2 employees, close to retirement age, discovered they had never enrolled in the company's retirement plan. So they sued the company and its fiduciaries, alleging they were not properly advised how to enroll. The lost benefit and legal defense costs exceeded $350,000. Think they will look to the investment advisor to take the blame? Think again. You picked them, and here's what can happen. An external investment manager for one company's retirement plan wrongly dropped a profitable option and selected another, so employees sued their fiduciaries for failing to monitor the advisor. Legal costs and damages exceeded $850,000. Here's the bottom line. The average cost of a fiduciary case tops $1.2 million. What's more, government regulators are always watching for irregularities. With risks like these, you need an insurance company who can help protect and prepare you for anything. That's why fiduciary liability coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected. There's a fine line between business as usual and business disrupted. Today, the risks to your company can come from anywhere. Online, offline, home, abroad, from the outside, and perhaps most disturbing, from the inside, the people working for you. As an employer, are you aware of how exposed you are to fraud, theft, and more? Workplace fraud is estimated to cost businesses 5% of revenues each year. The average time before fraud can be discovered? 18 months, usually by accident or a tip-off. And at least 1 in 5 cases cost companies at least $1 million. For example, a vice president of finance at a retail company created false vendor invoices and altered checks to embezzle $1.2 million over 10 years. And fraud can also come from outside a business. A payroll supervisor noticed 3 unauthorized wire payments from the company's bank account that totaled over $700,000. Seemed someone had gained access using a vice president's username and passwords. Whatever the size of your business, without the right protection, you risk losing a lot more than money. People, lawsuits, clients, trust, business assets, possibly the whole company. With risks like these, you need an insurance company who can help protect and prepare you for anything. That's why fidelity and crime coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected. Whatever your profession or the size of your business, you're accountable for the quality of your work. Whether you're a consultant or a counselor, a marketer, or a mediator, your success depends on meeting your clients' expectations. If they think your work doesn't measure up, they can sue, costing you time, money, reputation, customers, and possibly your whole business as you fight an expensive court case. Some clients won't hesitate to punish businesses for service they regard as negligent or below expectation. And there's no hiding behind a strongly worded contract, since these are routinely challenged during trials. That's why you need to protect yourself with an errors and omissions policy. Whether a large mistake or just a small oversight, you could face huge costs. Consider, a consultant helped a clothing store launch a new website and advertising campaign to promote its annual sale. but the email announcing the sale and the site wasn't sent out in time. The owner sued for negligence. It cost the consultant more than $90,000 to defend and settle the case. Or an executive recruitment agency found an experienced CFO for a client. After 3 years, the CFO was fired for misusing company credit cards. Turns out, the candidate had been sued by an old employer for embezzlement, something the background check missed, so the client took the agency to court. In the end, the case cost the agency more than $100,000. Every day, you expose yourself to potential liability just by doing business. In fact, you could even be losing out on new business by not having errors and omissions coverage required in many contracts. With risks like these, you need an insurance company who can help protect and prepare you for anything. That's why miscellaneous professional liability coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected.
Identity fraud can happen to anyone. Through a stolen wallet, a home burglary, even online. It's a frightening experience for an individual, but it's also frustrating for an employer who must absorb lost time, lost productivity, and perhaps even lost revenue. Victims take an average 37 hours, that's a week off work, to clean up an identity thief's mess and prove all debts and charges aren't theirs. And someone in your company is likely to get hit. Identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes out there. Last year, 13 million people in the US were affected. That's 1 in every 20 consumers. Here are the stories of just 2 victims. On a trip to Brazil, an employee's identity was stolen and charges made to his credit card. He had to file an affidavit in person with local police, incurred heavy travel and other expenses, even had to replace his passport. By the time he finally got back to the office, the cost topped $4,500. In the other case, an employee of a company noticed strange charges on her health insurance bills. Someone had stolen her identity and her children's identities to get medical services. She had to hire a lawyer, obtain copies of x-rays, work to get other medical records released, and faced multiple fees and administrative costs. The situation took 6 months to resolve, including time off work, and ended up costing more than $6,000. Even if events like these have not happened yet, any stage of life, from marriage to moving to simply doing taxes, can bring the risk of identity theft. So it's important to have an insurance company that provides fraud experts to answer questions, identity theft reimbursement, and resolution services as a compelling and affordable addition to your benefits suite. It's a way to protect your workers while protecting your business. That's why identity fraud expense reimbursement coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected. You serve as a director or board member of a nonprofit organization because you care about the mission, the people, the community. But care cannot protect you if your nonprofit is sued. It's not just the organization that's at risk, because in a director's and officer's liability claim, even your personal assets may be in jeopardy. Depending on legislation, your money, your house, your boat, everything you've worked for could be threatened. Many directors and officers believe that they are protected by charitable immunity laws. The reality is, in Canada, directors and officers of nonprofits are not protected from incurring substantial defense expenses on their own if they are sued personally. Hiring a lawyer yourself, if you can find the right counsel to take your case, can cost anywhere from $200 to $1,000 an hour. And lawsuits happen a lot. Almost 2/3 of nonprofits reported a D&O claim within the past 10 years. That's double the rate of claims against public and private company directors and officers. And these can come from vendors, donors, competitors, employees, and even government regulators. Consider this. A charitable institution's board had to defend itself against a lawsuit brought on by regulators regarding its alleged mismanagement of donated funds. The board was able to successfully defend the claim, but not until having spent over $500,000 in defense expenses and agreeing to change its management practices as a part of the negotiated settlement. In another case, a trade school and its directors were sued by a developer over alleged infringement of intellectual property rights. The case was eventually resolved, but defense costs reached nearly $700,000. Your organization needs protection in place so that you can confidently carry out your nonprofit's mission and attract high-quality board members. With risks like these, you need an insurance company who can help protect and prepare you for anything. That's why nonprofit directors and officers' liability coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected.
Kidnapping? Ransom? Extortion? That only happens in movies or in dangerous countries, right? Wrong. These threats are very real, even in North America. But if you still think it could never happen, consider this. Coercive threats to you and your business can take many forms. Here's one. A company received a series of violent threats against one of their buildings, and the perpetrators demanded $50,000 to stop. The company had to bring in an analyst to examine the notes, extra guards to protect the premises and the workers, and experts to negotiate with the perpetrators. And still the threats continued without any hostile action for 3 long years. The costs were more than $4 million. Thankfully, no one was ever kidnapped or hurt, but any business anywhere could be a target. Someone could have a grudge against you, your company, or your employees, or someone could even try to force you to reveal company trade secrets. Even when no money is ever paid, these stressful situations can create unexpected costs and have a significant impact on your business's bottom line. To address these threats, your business could need negotiators, investigators, lawyers, public relations professionals, forensic analysts, security guards, and consultants. The company might need to pay ransom, pay interest on loans, or cover extensive medical costs not included in traditional insurance plans. It all adds up, fast, and if the worst does happen, every second counts. A company president was kidnapped while entering his car and held for 5 days. After hiring a negotiator, guarding the family, renting recording equipment, and taking out a loan for the ransom money, costs totaled more than $650,000. Your employees are your company's most valuable asset, and their safety at home or abroad is paramount. That's why you need an insurance company that uses timely, proven methods to reduce stress and uncertainty, as well as minimize the financial impact of kidnapping, extortion, or illegal detention on your business. That's why kidnap and ransom coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected. In your business, you make decisions every day. Hiring, firing, compensation, duties, promotions, work environment, and so many more. Nearly every one of your decisions affects your employees, and nearly every outcome could lead to a claim by employees or governmental regulators for wrongful employment practices. These claims can disrupt business, hurt employee morale, and damage your reputation, and cost your business financially, even before going to court. And once you're there, the stats are not on your side. Winning a case is a coin toss. 50% of plaintiffs come out on top in trials, and even victory can be costly. It is not uncommon for legal fees in employment practices cases to exceed $250,000. Let's look at a typical case. An elderly employee was let go by his employer and promptly sued for discrimination. The employer argued the man was discharged for being unable to perform the essential functions of the job. The employee claimed he was fired because of his age and disability. The employer lost the case and paid over $300,000 in defense and settlement costs. In another case, an employee claimed she was retaliated against, suspended, and eventually fired because she had complained to management about her wages and hours. She sued the company and its vice president of human resources for wrongful termination, invasion of privacy, and defamation. Defense and settlement costs topped $1.7 million. With all the potential risks in the workplace today, you need an insurance company that can protect your company's bottom line. That's why employment practices liability coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected.
If you think there's a clear line between your business and your personal assets, think again. Every day, with every decision, company directors and officers put everything they have at risk. Because in a directors and officers liability claim, even your personal assets may be fair game. From the largest public corporation to the smallest local business, claims against directors and officers are increasingly common. 1 of every 3 companies has faced them over the past 10 years. And it doesn't matter if your stock's not traded on an exchange. Your directors and officers could be sued by vendors, customers, employees, competitors, and even government regulators. These cases can be costly, not just in legal fees associated with civil or criminal proceedings, but with settlements. Take the small electronics company that attracted 4 employees from a larger competitor. The smaller firm soon began selling products similar to their rivals, but at a lower price, prompting the bigger business to sue the smaller firm and its officers for stealing trade secrets and customer lists. After 2.5 years, the case was settled for more than $1 million, and defense costs hit $500,000. Another instance. After selling a coin-operated laundry business, the former directors and officers were sued by the new buyer, who claimed false information about its profitability was used to clinch the deal. The buyer demanded the agreement be scrapped and all losses be reimbursed. Together, the legal fees and the settlement reached $725,000. Sobering stuff, especially when a company can't always reimburse its directors and officers for these costs. No wonder 43% of them want extra protection if their organization becomes bankrupt or insolvent. Having the right coverage isn't just the key to protecting your company, its directors and officers and their assets. It can be critical to attracting and retaining the quality of talent your business demands. With risks like these, you need an insurance company who can help protect and prepare you for anything. That's why directors and officers liability coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected. In business, everyone's online, and everyone's vulnerable to increasingly sophisticated cybercriminals. Attacks such as data breaches and hacks have increased more than 60% in the past year. So it really isn't a case of if your business will be hit, but when. Just one hacker, one stolen laptop, one virus, or even one lost piece of paper can result in huge costs, business disruption, revenue loss, legal fees, forensic analysis, customer or employee notifications. All these have pushed the average cost of a breach to nearly $6 million, including the damage to your company's reputation and the loss of customer trust. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in or what size you are. Attacks on big companies make big news. But 1/3 of cyber attacks target companies with fewer than 250 employees. No matter how careful you are, the simplest actions can spiral into trouble. At one company, an employee opened what looked like junk email. It was actually malware sent by a hacker looking to gain access to the company's network. The hacker was able to access confidential customer information and lock out legitimate users of the company's system for several days, which resulted in lost business, which on average cost businesses $3.3 million. At another firm, a company laptop was stolen from an employee's car. It contained private financial information belonging to 25,000 of the firm's customers. When the breach was announced, customers sued the company, alleging failure to prevent unauthorized access to confidential data. From there, the costs piled up, at an average of $200 for every single compromised record. Cyber threats carry real dangers to your business assets and your company's good name. That's why you need an insurance company that understands the risks and can minimize the impact of a breach. That's why cyber risk coverage isn't a maybe, but a must-have. Ask your broker how Travelers Canada can help ensure your business is protected.